You don't retire when you hit a number. That's the lie that quietly ruins people, because the most dangerous moment in your entire financial life isn't when you're broke, and it's not when you're rich either. It's the moment you cross $500,000. That's when the rules change, but nobody tells you. And if you keep playing the old game with the new amount of money, you don't just slow down your progress, you can permanently break your future. Let me explain why. If you have $500,000 saved, you're not poor anymore, but you're also not safe. You're standing on a financial fault line, and one wrong move can send you backward 10 years without you even realizing it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why $500,000 is the most fragile phase of wealth, when contributions stop mattering as much as decisions, and how to switch from builder mode to protector mode without killing your growth. Stay with me, because this is the phase where smart people make dumb mistakes. Here's the problem. Everything that worked when you were building your first $100,000 becomes dangerous at $500,000. Back then, aggression was your friend. Risk didn't really matter. Volatility was just noise. If your account dropped 20%, it hurt emotionally, but mathematically, you just kept contributing and moved on. But at $500,000, a 20% drop isn't a feeling anymore. It's a six-figure event. That's a year of your life. That's your future flexibility evaporating. And here's the trap most people fall into. They feel richer, so they act looser. They loosen discipline right when discipline matters most. They start thinking, I've made it this far, I'll just wing it now. That mindset quietly destroys compounding, because $500,000 isn't about speed anymore, it's about trajectory. Let me show you what I mean with something simple. At $50,000, a mistake costs you months. At $100,000, it costs you a year or two. At $500,000, it costs you a decade. That's not exaggeration, that's math. If you're earning 8% annually, $500,000 grows by about $40,000 a year without you doing anything. That means panic selling costs you future growth. Pulling money early costs you compounding. Chasing returns costs you stability. Every bad decision now steals time, not money.
And time is the only thing you can't replace. This is why $500,000 feels weird. You're wealthy enough to lose sleep over volatility, but not wealthy enough to absorb mistakes. It's the most psychologically unstable amount of money you'll ever have, and almost nobody prepares you for that. Here's the first mental switch you have to make. You are no longer a money builder. You are becoming a money steward. Builders focus on speed. Stewards focus on survival. Builders ask, how fast can I grow this? Stewards ask, how long can this support my life? And if you don't consciously make that shift, you'll keep using builder instincts in a steward phase. And that's how portfolios collapse quietly. Now here's where this gets uncomfortable, because stewardship doesn't feel exciting. There's no dopamine hit from protecting the downside. There's no applause for avoiding disaster. But every comfortable retiree you admire learned this lesson early, and every stressed retiree ignored it. Let's talk about the moment contributions start losing power. This is subtle, and most people miss it. When you have $50,000 invested, contributions are everything. When you have $100,000, they still matter a lot. But at $500,000, your money starts doing more work than you do. If your portfolio earns 8%, that's $40,000 a year. That's more than most people contribute, which means something important just happened. Your behavior now matters more than your effort. Missing a contribution hurts less than making a bad decision. Skipping a year of saving might slow you down, but a panic sell can permanently reset your progress. This is the invisible line people cross without realizing it, and right here is where most financial mistakes are made. Let me pause you for a second, because if you miss this next part, the rest of the video won't matter. Here it is. At $500,000, not losing money becomes more important than making more money. Not because growth stops mattering, but because losses compound faster than gains.
Lose 20% and you need 25% just to break even. Lose 30% and you need 43%. Lose 50% and you need 100%. That math is brutal at scale. This is why people who reach $500,000 and then get aggressive often end up stuck there for years. They don't blow up, they just stall. And stalling at this level is deadly because inflation keeps moving whether you do or not. Now, here's the twist nobody expects. Even though protection matters more now, playing it too safe is also a mistake. This is the paradox of $500,000. You have enough to lose, so fear feels logical. But if fear pushes you into cash, bonds only, or ultra-conservative strategies too early, inflation slowly bleeds you out. You don't feel it year to year, but decade to decade, it's devastating. A portfolio earning 2% real returns struggles to support retirement. A portfolio earning 4% real returns creates flexibility. That difference decides whether you're anxious at 75 or relaxed. So the question becomes, how do you protect without freezing? That's where strategy replaces emotion. This is where the bucket mindset comes in. And no, it's not sexy, but it works. Instead of treating your money as one giant pile, you mentally separate it by time. Money you'll need soon. Money you'll need later. Money you may never touch. Here's why that matters. Market crashes aren't dangerous because they happen. They're dangerous because they force bad timing. If you're pulling money out during a crash, you lock in losses. But if you have several years of expenses sitting safely outside the market, you buy yourself patience. And patience is the single most valuable asset at this stage. You're not trying to win the market. You're trying to outlast it. That's stewardship. Now, here's the cliff most people don't see coming. This is where $500,000 quietly morphs from a growth milestone into a retirement rehearsal. Because once you stop obsessing over contributions, you start thinking about withdrawals, even if retirement is 10 years away. Questions start creeping in. How much could this realistically pay me? What happens if I stop working earlier than planned? What if my health changes? That's not anxiety, that's awareness. And awareness is good, but only if you respond strategically, not emotionally. Let me tell you about two people. Same age, same income, same $500,000 saved. One feels trapped. The other feels powerful. The difference? One sees $500,000 as money they can't touch. The other sees it as option insurance. Not quit tomorrow money, but I'm not desperate money. That shift changes everything. It changes how you negotiate, how you tolerate bad jobs, how you plan risk. And this is the part nobody talks about. The real value of $500,000 isn't the income it generates, it's the leverage it gives you before retirement. Let's reset for a moment. If you've been listening passively, come back, because this next part ties everything together. Here it is. $500,000 is the moment retirement stops being theoretical and starts becoming designable. Not because you're done, but because the inputs matter less than the structure now. From here on out, location matters more, healthcare timing matters more, debt matters more, tax decisions matter more, and returns matter less than people think. That's why some people retire comfortably on $500,000 while others feel broke with $2 million. The money didn't fail them. Their structure did. This is where most people panic and ask, so should I retire now? Wrong question. The right question is, what decisions would make this amount enough? That's where the next phase begins. Because retirement isn't triggered by hitting $500,000, it's triggered when income sources line up, expenses are controlled, risks are managed, and withdrawals are intentional. That's not a number, that's a system. And systems beat amounts every time. Let me leave you with this thought before we move forward. If you're sitting at $500,000 right now, you're not late. You're early to the most important phase. This is where people either lock in a future of flexibility or drift into decades of quiet stress. Same money, different outcomes. And in the next part, we're going to get brutally specific. we're going to talk about exactly how much $500,000 can pay you per month, why Social Security changes everything, why location quietly doubles or halves your lifestyle, and why healthcare is the real retirement boss fight. Because once you understand those 5 factors, you stop guessing and start planning. And that's when $500,000 stops feeling fragile and starts feeling usable. Stay with me. The math is about to get very real.